And so it is. Loved ones, dear ones, that we welcome you in this wonderful energy of home, this energy that you are creating right now, creating by your very thoughts, aren't you? That's the first question we would love to ask to you tonight. Are you creating this world around you by the energy of your thoughts, or by the energy that is your heart? How do you do this? Have you ever wondered about this principle of creation? Have you ever considered the fact that when you emit a thought that is based on an action of the heart, that everything around you, every aspect, every atom is changed forever? Let this be our opening statement tonight. We wish to welcome each and every one of you. We wish to greet you in this new energy. This new energy that cannot be defined. It cannot be placed in a category that you have submitted previously in what you call your brain. You see, loved ones, when you look at the world, you constantly are looking for something you recognize, something that you can place within a time frame and within a space frame, so to speak. And yet we ask you, are you sure that what you have created right now, that this exists within the boundaries of time and space? For we are not so sure about this. We are the energy of 12. Some have called us the 12 cosmic masters. But we do not seek this name. We do not want to be called masters. For if we were to carry this name and take it for our own, we would indeed place ourselves above you, would we not? So we will be your guides. We will be your gardeners. We will be the umbilical cord that exists between that which you call a central sun, and that which you call your very essence, your very heart. We have been asked in the last few weeks if it would be possible to repeat everything that we have been giving you, based on the information that you have been taught, based on the information that you have sought out yourselves, and based on, well, the power that is called evolution, is it not? And so we will, today, take you back to the beginning of the year 2007. We'll take you back to a time where you had just left everything else behind. You had been living lives that actually were based on the illusions and the lies that you have taught yourselves to be true. And yet again, we implore you to thank yourselves for letting go. Letting go of the illusions, letting go of the limitations, letting go of the lies that you have lived for so very long. For you see, Imzaia, if you look at this world around you, if you see this universe that seems to be taking place around you all the time, we ask you now, could it be that you are the only thing that really matters in this universe? Could it be that you are the only one you actually have to take into account when you create, when you go about your day, when you interact with others, and you interact with the world itself? Or is this a thought that is based on ego? Is this a thought that is based on what you would call selfishness? Oh yes, many of you today are selfish. Especially when others look at you, when others see the selfishness that is you, they believe that you have chosen to leave everything else behind, that you have chosen to leave the world as you know it behind, and that you place yourselves first. And again, we implore you to think about this. What is wrong with this analogy? What is wrong with this idea that you have the ability to put yourselves first? Good. Good. Now that several of you are lost in your brain, we can actually start the communication that we intended to do with you today, that we intended to take place today. Because we are here for a very special reason. We are here to remind you, each and every one of you, all around this planet, that you are God. We are here to remind you that there is no world around you. There's only a world that lives within the confines of your own body. And we are here to remind you that you are the creator of your own life. Now, you have known all these facts for quite some time. I mean, there are tons and tons of channelings all around the world. There's tons and tons of information telling you about these facts, telling you that you are in fact the creator of your own life, that nothing else exists except for you. And from time to time you actually wake up in the morning and you have a creative thought, which manifests itself later that day, best case scenario. And yet, every single day, each and every one of you returns to the golden cage that is reality. Why do you put yourselves through this? Why do you try to look at your life as something of which you have no control? Why do you try to look at yourself in the smallest way possible? We have seen you do this over and over and over. And this is where we would like to begin our teaching today. For what is consciousness really? Is consciousness something that is just a garbage can, a trash can of thought? Or is consciousness something that is the creation of all things, equally seen in the light of unity? Did you have trouble actually comprehending the last sentence? How could that be? Could it be that maybe right now, as you listen to this discussion taking place in this body that you live in right now, that you're getting a little bit too close to the truth? For if you do, you will notice that there are several aspects that will happen with you. First of all, you will reject these words. Second of all, you will reject yourselves. Third, you will reject the world. This is what happens when you enter states of depression, when you enter states of fear. Fear-based thinking, for instance, will always put the world on top of you. Will always let you carry the weight. Now, if you really believe in the power of consciousness, if you really believe in the power of truth and unity, then we are here to tell you something. Before we get into everything else, we need to tell you a little bit about the reality of things. You see, you live in a world where you think you are constantly being attacked by matter. Matter that manifests itself in the reality around you, and yet matter that seems to exist separate from you. Look around this room. the very room you sit in right now. You see a floor, and you can walk on this floor. You see walls, and you can touch these walls. You see chairs, and you can sit in the chairs. Can you also see your heart? Can you also see your mind? Can you see your consciousness? You can't touch your consciousness. And again, the very light bulbs that are emitting light here right now, can you touch this light? And yet, it is there. And most of you have never even considered the fact that you don't know how electricity works. And yet you are willing to use it. So today we wish to invite you to just use your consciousness, even though you have no idea how it actually works. If you had an idea of how consciousness actually transmits itself and replicates itself, you would see that there is nothing else around you. That you are just living in a holographic field of thought. And that these things manifest themselves around you when you are using your senses. An interesting fact that we have always seen taking place on this planet Earth when you are trying to reach enlightenment is that you are trying to leave your bodies. You're not taking care of your body. You're not thinking about the things you are eating, the things you are putting inside of your body. You are not thinking about the reality that are your senses. So, if all these things are true, then what are your senses, Imzaia? Are your senses, your eyes and your ears and your hands, and your nose, and your mouth, are these just passive instruments with which you can actually experience a very small part of reality? Or could it be that your senses are active? Could it be that by the act of looking, you are creating? Could it be that by the act of hearing, you are creating? Could it be that when you taste an apple, that you are creating this apple by the very process of tasting it itself? If so, then that would mean that you are not linear. Because if you are creating the apple at the moment you are tasting it, then what happened with the apple when it was hanging on the tree, when it was growing, when you found it in a store somewhere, a convenience store? Could it be that the very act of tasting the apple itself creates a timeline, past, present, and future, where you have an impact on what is happening right there? Oh, the world is glorious, and you are the world. Therefore, you are glorious. Your senses are magnificent. Actually, your eyes and your hands, and your mouth and your ears and your nose and everything else is nothing more but a magic wand with which you create reality. And so, here you sit in the year 2007, waiting to explode into a new existence. We know of the ordeals, the trials and the tribulations you have gone through in 2006 and the years before that. We know there's so much you had to let go, so much you actually had to say goodbye to. Some of you had to say goodbye to friends and family and loved ones, workplaces, husbands and wives and children, all of them. Even those you said goodbye to on a permanent basis because they are no longer part of this reality you call Earth. All of them are here right now, speaking. You see, when you let go of separation, you actually enter a state of unity. And in this unity there is no time and space. There is no separation. There is only the whole that exists. And we would like to change your perspective on this one, Imzaia. Because when you think about the concept of the whole, you think you will be added to something that is already there, something of which you are now again a part. You think that you are a drop in the ocean that has just been taken away for a while and that is now being returned. But what if you are actually the ocean? What if that when you look at your life, you are the whole itself? Could this be the case? Could it be that you are your father and your mother, that you gave birth to yourself? Could it be that you are all these things around you? Well, we speak from experience, for we are you. And when we say we are you, we don't mean you or you or you or you. We just mean you. For there is only one of you. All the rest of the people sitting here in the room, listening to this right now, looking at this right now, are they real? Then again, are we the 12? And I, this vessel that now speaks, am I real? Isn't this something you are making up right now? Isn't this something that you have just created in your life for you to find the truth? We are happy to play this role for you. We are happy to just sit here and pretend to be real. Oh, you can prick us and we will bleed. You can bite us and we will scream. You can hit us and we will run. But know that you have created us in your reality right now. You have created the room you're in, the possible screen you're looking at. This is your creation. Are you happy with what you created? Well, if you're not, change my body. Change my eyes. Change the color of my hair, why don't you? Give me 4 fingers instead of 5. Come on. I dare you. Can you do that? Can you? Oops. I guess you must still be limiting yourself. You must still be thinking of yourself as something that is separate. And this is where it all began, Imzaia. The very first thought you ever had, and you ever have, whenever you are born, is that you are a separate entity. Stop fooling yourselves. Stop fucking with your minds. Stop creating an illusion. For what is the point? What is the purpose? What is the purpose of all this suffering? What is the purpose of all this fear? What is the purpose of all this hate and this pain and this angst and anxiety? We know what the purpose is. It's to keep you separated. It's to keep you in the illusion of separateness. There was a time, long, long ago, not. Maybe it's happening right now. But let's just say for the time being, it's been a long time ago, when you had your very first thought, you were whole, you were one, you were everything that is. You still are, actually. But you think you're not, so let's just go with this train of thought here for a second. And when you were experiencing this wholeness, you actually had an extra thought. What if we can separate ourselves from this unity? What if we can separate ourselves from ourselves? Well, you know, you had been creating for a couple of billion of years. So, this is actually a thought you had out of boredom. And you understand this? That you were bored with yourselves, so you tried to separate you from you. And when you did, that's when this whole thing began. This which you call the universe. This place of energy and matter being created by consciousness. And in this thought, you created a world of guilt, a world of pain, and a world of fear. Think about this, Imzaia. We're not trying to get you down, but think about this. Even in joy, there is fear, for the joy might go away. Even in love, there is pain. The pain you're trying to let go of, but are still thinking about, because the one you are loving might go away. Even in all of these things you call happiness, there is always fear of it going away, ending. And what is this fear other than the creation of a linear timeline? I'm sitting here right now, in the now. There is no fear. What would I fear? This room that I'm creating? These people I'm creating? You? You? Or maybe the thought that you might go away. But if you are here right now, you can't go away, can you? So in my world, in my reality, you still will continue to exist, even if you choose another reality. Okay, so here come the questions. Have you been thinking about this for a long time, Imzaia? Have you been trying to get to a point where you can actually experience being everything that you are? Or is there a world around you that is trying to keep you away from you? Is there a world around you that is thinking of you as a crazy person? Is there a world around you that is thinking of you as just another lunatic? And the question becomes, if all of you is everything that is, and if you are creating everything around you, why do you think of yourself as a lunatic? Why do you think of yourself as someone who would hurt animals? Why do you think of someone that is you, that is living in a continent where there is not enough food for everyone? Why do you think of yourselves as someone who died in hunger who died in war. Why do you think of yourselves as a president who would rather send thousands and thousands of his own people into battle instead of facing up to the fact that he has lost all control of his own country, and that this is in the power and in the hands of other people? Why do you think of yourselves as this? Because you are your worst enemy. You are all of these things that you have always hated about the world. So now, with all this being said, I can come in and shake your hand. You see, I was specifically created to wake you up out of your coma. I was specifically created by your consciousness so that you could see who you really are. And the world is changing. For you are changing. And you are the world. Let's begin again. For you didn't listen to what I just said. You didn't listen to these words. Look around you. Are you still noticing a room? Are you still noticing other people maybe? Objects? Are you still thinking of these things as separate from yourself? That you didn't listen. I advise you to begin again. I advise you to hear these words in yourself every single second until you realize that indeed there is no world. This is a process we call reunification. You have called it forgiveness in the past. We don't like the word forgiveness. What is there to forgive? Only yourself. Reunification is a process where you allow yourself to see the world as a part of you, and every single action, every single event, person, place, or experience is there to show you that you have let go of your own power. So I have come in again, have I not? I will give no name today. It is not necessary to give you a name. My name is your name. And in a moment you will find out you don't even have a name. So I don't think I need to give you a name today. Do I? Okay. I have come into your reality to talk to you about your own essence, about your own core. My only goal is to love you, for I am you, and you are me. My only goal is to adore you, and to sit by your feet as you come to the realization that you are. That's all you need to do. Just realize that you are. Now, I need to tell you something about your brain. When you think a thought such as I am, automatically you have a process going on inside of you where space is reserved for the opposite of I am. I am not. Can you comprehend this? This is a dual concept. Duality. I am or I am not. But this duality, it doesn't exist. It is just a creation, a figment of your imagination. I am is all you ever have to think. I am. What will happen if you do this? Time will speed up. And that's what happened to a lot of people around this world. This world that is you, by the way. At the beginning of this year, 2007. You shifted. You quickened. Because of the process of reunification, time is actually coming to a standstill. And in order to stand still, time needs to speed up. Because you think that finding a space where nothing actually moves, where nothing actually is, will only occur when you actually slow down. It won't. It won't. From our point of view, slowing down is actually going more into a state of matter, more into a state of illusion. You will see that when you slow down, you are actually segmenting that which is infinite, taking it into one point, one singular point alone. And this is not the way. You have been trying this for many, many years. You have been trying to slow yourselves down by so many different techniques. You have tried meditation. You have tried yoga, maybe. You have tried a multiple spectrum. Have you slowed down? Or have you only experienced more stress? Because you're trying to run to the places where you can actually slow down. It doesn't work that way. Finding you, finding yourselves, is daring to speed up, is daring to experience this world as one. This is your greatest illusion, that you need time to see all the world around you. You don't. The faster you go, the more you will experience at once. At a certain point you will see that time and speed are also a very limited concept. You think you can speed up to a point that you cannot even comprehend. You call this the speed of light. And many great ones on this planet, like Einstein, Tesla, so many others, they have talked about this concept. Speed of light. You think it takes several minutes even from the light of your sun to reach this planet Earth. It travels at light speed. On a cosmic level, however, that which you call light speed is the most slow speed possible. Do you understand this? Do you understand, Imzaia, when you think of curves that occur when you're trying to put speed in a physics point of view, that you are just at the beginning of a very big ladder, and that once you cross the threshold of light speed, so to speak, that you actually enter a point which we would call the speed of consciousness, or the speed of energy. What you will see here is absolutely no movement at all. Not speed zero. That's not what we're talking about. I'm talking about speed of energy. Now, when I take one of these particles here in the air around me, it doesn't just exist here in my hand. You can open your hand, it will exist there too. Energy is everywhere at once. And your science has taught you that your body is made up of energy. And where are you? Aren't you everything at once? Aren't you, again, your room, your house, your apartment building, your car, your city, your country, your planet, your universe? So let's look at this from a different perspective, shall we? This year, 2007, is what we call the year of quickening. Quickening is a process whereby you, as a creator, are actually speeding up time. This is because the original timeline of planet Earth was only intended to run up until a point in time and space which you are getting very close to right now. 22nd of December 2012, the end of the year 2012. So what we are doing is what you have been doing all along. When you die, we are taking you out of time and space. We are letting you experience all the energy up from 2007 until the end of 2012 in 1 year. One of these time warps, so to speak, has already taken place. And even if you haven't been aware of this, you have taken a part in it. It's happened to everyone. Because you are everyone. First time it happened was the beginning of this year. Was it not? In the very small amount of time of a couple of seconds, you were actually given the entire energy of 2007. And then, beginning of February 2007, some of you were already existing in what you would call 2008. Don't try to wrap your brain around it, it won't work. Second point of the time warp you will still experience is the year September. Not the month, but the year. Because in September, loved ones, so much energy will be available. The year 2008, the year 2009 will find a way into your system. As you work with these new energies that are coming in, just remember to breathe. Just remember to think straight. And then, at the end of this year 2007, month of December, you will experience an even greater shift. Last 3 years, up until 2012, will be made available to you. Knowing this, we ask you, what are you going to do with it? Are you just going to sit there, eat potato chips, watch television? All these things were created so that you could have a level of comfort in your lives. Is it comfort really? It isn't. What does it matter to you? Television, media, news reports, fiction. It's all very interesting. It's not the reason why you were born. Not at all. It's a reason that is intended to keep you away from the reason for which you were born. Imagine a conversation that you and I are having once your life is over. You think you're going to be interested in the end of a show like Baywatch? Or will we talk about the lives you touched? Will we have a conversation about the very last episode of The Bold and the Beautiful? Or will we have a talk, you and I, about the person whose hand you held as they were crossing over? A person maybe you will never even know. Will we have a discussion about how many classy stars a certain restaurant has, and if you manage to get into the jet set of society? Or will we talk about your influence on this planet? And that's even thinking on a very slow and very small level. Because we have told you at the beginning of this exchange between you and I that there is no world, there is no time, there is no space. So, we're now coming to a point where we can actually cut the crap. We have been talking mumblings and ramblings in the last few minutes, haven't we? We have been throwing so much stuff at you, not in a very linear way. No, we haven't done this because we are not well structured. We don't believe in structure. I don't believe in structure. The only reason I've thrown all these concepts your way is so that your mind and your brain will get tired. Maybe, best case scenario, well, actually shut off. Now, if your brain is asleep, at least a big part of it, I can actually talk to you. I am consciousness. I am the world. And I am very well aware of that. So should you. And if you think I'm crazy, well, I'm your creation, baby. So, Imzaia, we have now come to a point where we can actually exchange what we needed to exchange. And this is energy, consciousness, and love. 3 concepts, 3 words with which I can describe you. Energy, consciousness, and love. That's all you are. You aren't your problems. You are not the things you would like to lose in your lives. Well, you are them, but you don't have to be them. So now, as we exist just for a couple of minutes here, just for a couple of glances, as we exist beyond time and space with you right now. We ask you, why are you here? Who are you? Why do you do the things you do? What is your purpose? Is your purpose to walk around on this planet for, let's say, 80 years, give or take a couple of years, to just make some money, make some children maybe, make some love, and destroy some love? Is that your purpose? We still haven't gotten through to you. We need to go deeper. Do you wish to know the truth? Okay. I'll give you the truth. All of you. You don't even exist. Your consciousness doesn't even exist. Your energy doesn't even appear real to me. I don't even exist. All we are is nothing. A potential sea of everything. If you can see this, if you can let go this far, then you will become the magician of your own life. For you see, a lot of you, I'm talking about you in the first person and in the plural, a lot of you, when you heard me speak before, was thinking about the fact that I might be crazy. A lot of you were thinking that if I think I am the world, I must have a huge ego. But I just told you that I am nothing. Nothing. Would someone with an ego say these words to you? How about your ego? Can you be nothing? Can you accept that you don't matter at all? And at the same time, you're only thing that matters? Can you? Okay. Let's take this down another level. We are now beyond the field of nothing. Because nothing is still a definable concept, is it not? Nothing is still the implication of something. What exists beyond the nothing? There's no more words. There's no more thoughts. There's no more bodies. There's no more worlds. There's no more stars. There just is a non-dual experience. The place beyond nothing is a point which you have called the Big Bang, which has been totally misunderstood. You think that this Big Bang is actually the consequence of a series of events that led a very, very compressed particle of everything explode into nothingness. That's not what happened. So, this point we're talking about, where could this exist? Where do you exist if you are nothing? Are you starting to grasp what I and all the others here are talking about? Are you starting to see this for what it actually is? I know it's a very uncomfortable level to be at. I know it's very annoying to be at this level of thought, what you would call philosophy. But to me and all my friends, philosophy this is not. Truth this is. And that's where you are beyond nothing. Even though it cannot be defined, I can only describe it as a place of truth. You have always looked at truth, Imzaia, as something which is a very small part of a much bigger whole. You see, you go into searching for the truth, and you have all these facts available, and you think only one of them is truth. That's not true. And even that is true. But all of them is the one truth. And all of that exists beyond nothing. And I must admit, this is a very limited description of what I'm trying to tell you, because, as you can see, this place beyond nothing, which we will now call, for lack of a better term, the akunai, is not a real place. It is a place of truth. And to take you through this place, well, I must become, as always, the teacher. Teacher that lives inside of you. I've always been this teacher. I've always been this aspect of you that is trying to get a different handle on the world that exists beyond this place of nothing, that which we will now call the akunai. If you so seek, you can find the truth within yourself. I cannot give it to you. I have lived many truths. I have lived your truth. I'm living your truth right now because I am your creation. The only reason I'm saying all of these things is to get you away from a concept which will kill you in the end. It's a concept called definition. The moment you start defining yourself, you destroy yourself. Because you take all of these truths, all of this energy, all of this consciousness, you place it all around you, and you look at a very, very tiny spot, and you claim that this spot is you. This way, you cannot ever find yourself. It's not possible. It's not done. Oh, you might go to all the lectures and you might read all the books and you might get all the concepts in your head and you will think about this. In the end, you will just die. Stuck in a system of reincarnation, and you will once again find yourself in a body, a very small body indeed. And in this body you will start to experience, and this body will grow up. As it does, you will just get hurt. I no longer want you to get hurt. I am the clown inside of you. And in a couple of minutes, I will tell you why I don't want you to get hurt. But right now, I'm inviting you. You understand? What am I inviting you to? Nothing. This is the principle of Zen. Turned around on its head. It's the principle of life turned around on its head. It's the principle of existence itself. We will return shortly for more of this nonsense. For that is what everything is. Nonsense. If you dare to look at life this way, you might even survive. We will return in a couple of minutes, and we thank you for creating us. And so it is.